Welcome to the Managing Drought in the Southern Plains webinar series. I'm Margaret Boone with your briefing for July 12, 2013. This information is brought to you by the Southern Climate Impacts Planning Program in association with NOAA, NIDIS, and the National Drought Mitigation Center. So what has changed over the past week? There's been a substantial increase in D0 conditions across eastern Oklahoma and Arkansas, and an increase in D1 conditions across Arkansas where there was no drought designation previously. This is known as a 2-category degradation. Worsening conditions continue across much of Texas. Conditions have been holding steady across drought-ridden New Mexico as well as northward into Kansas and Nebraska. There is a possible short-term significant weather change going to occur this weekend into next week that we'll have to pay attention to. This is the newest Drought Monitor released Thursday, July 11th. In general, things have remained relatively unchanged over the past week, except where significant drought expansion has occurred across Oklahoma and eastern Oklahoma and Arkansas that I mentioned previously. Across our region, abnormally dry D0 conditions have been introduced across much of Arkansas and parts of eastern Oklahoma. Across Arkansas, a 2-category degradation from no drought to D1 drought conditions has occurred across parts of northwest and southwest Arkansas, as stream flows and other drought parameters have indicated rapid drying across that area. Drought conditions continue to worsen across Texas. The Brazos Sport Water Authority has had to implement Stage 3 of its drought contingency plan, and inflow into parts of the lower Colorado River are down to 10 cubic feet per second. Lake Travis and Lake Buchanan near Austin are both reporting 35 and 37% capacity. Across the northern plains, conditions remain fairly unchanged from last week, with southeastern Colorado and parts of western Kansas experiencing the worst drought conditions. Further west, drought conditions continue to plague New Mexico and much of the western United States, with only Washington State and far northern Montana and Idaho not experiencing any drought. Wanting to take a closer look at Arkansas to show the dramatic increase in drought conditions across the state. 2/3 of the state is now in D0 drought conditions, with only the far eastern part of Arkansas near Tennessee and parts of Mississippi are drought free. Parts of northwest Arkansas went from no drought to D1 conditions as rapid drying has been occurring. Oklahoma also saw an increase in drought conditions across the eastern part of the state. There's been a roughly 15% increase in D0 conditions in regions primarily south and east of Tulsa in northeast Oklahoma, as well as south of Oklahoma City in central Oklahoma. As we look at the rainfall patterns, the top 2 panels show the short-term rainfall departures, and the bottom 2 panels show the long-term departures. The last 14 days reflects the general lack of precipitation across the entire southern plains. The last 60 days is also generally dry, except for central Oklahoma, where the April rains and then the late May severe weather episodes brought increased rainfall. The last 6 months and year-to-date are similar. They're pretty much the same time period, and show the overall dryness across Texas, parts of Oklahoma, New Mexico, as well as Kansas and Colorado. The outlook for the next 5 days shows increased precipitation chances across parts of the area that need it definitely the most. Western Texas, New Mexico, and parts of Oklahoma. Accompanying the rainfall will be below normal temperatures across much of that same region. This is the short-term significant weather that I mentioned possible for this weekend into next week, as some models are indicating greater than 2 inches of rainfall is possible across parts of Oklahoma and Texas, which would be wonderful if that came true. Looking out 8 to 14 days shows equal chances of below or above normal temperatures across much of the region, except in New Mexico, where temperatures are expected to continue to be below normal. Much of the area also has above normal chances of rainfall, unless you're in Oklahoma or Kansas, where the next 8 to 14 days looks to be pretty dry. The newest 3-month outlook for July, August, and September shows a good chance that much of the western United States will experience above normal temperatures. The precipitation outlook is a little less clear. with only parts of western Texas and Oklahoma expecting drier than normal conditions, and then the far southeast United States with wetter than normal conditions. The Pacific Northwest also looks to be drier than normal, but the rest of the United States just has equal chances of either below or above normal precipitation. This is the newest addition to the CPC Outlook, and it's a new monthly drought outlook. They still have the seasonal drought outlook, but now they're issuing also a monthly drought outlook. This was released June 30th, and it shows persistence across much of the western United States, except across New Mexico and southern Colorado, where conditions are expected to improve. This is most likely a reflection of the cooler temperatures and higher precipitation chances that I mentioned previously that are expected here in the short term, which is good news for that region. As always, please join us in these briefings and full topic webinars. For more information, please visit our SCIP website, southernclimate.org, to register for more information if you haven't already. These briefings will be posted on our SCIP YouTube channel as well as our website. Likewise, SCIP's companion webinar series, Extreme Events and Hazards, will have its next webinar next Thursday, July 18th, with a focus topic of severe weather. Please visit the SCIP website to register for this series as well and for more information. We thank you for joining us and have a great week.